Is there a book in you? Have you always thought someday I'd like to write a book or a bestseller, but you haven't done it yet? How many times do you look at people who are authors and you think, wow, that's really amazing. I didn't know they did that. And you have the power to do the exact same thing. So today we are continuing on our Famous in 4 Hours series. It's a 4-part series. We've done part 1, part 2. Part 1 was all about having your own TV show and getting visible on a show. Part 2 is not about getting seen, but about getting heard. And that's your podcast. What are you doing to speak to the world? How are you getting your voice out there? Do you have a podcast? Do you have a way of getting on podcasts? And today we are on part 3. And this is all about getting read. This is a wonderful way for you to boost your credibility, your profitability, your visibility by the power of the book. As you know, I am your host here, Connie Scavella, and this is Iconic TV Live. We come here every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, and we talk about strategies and principles that will grow and build multi-million-dollar companies in very little time without all the effort, stress, struggle that you've probably been sacrificing your whole life for. So yes, today is about books. I've written a lot of books. Let me give you some examples. I'll show you some more. If this is the principle, a 4-step principle around which we build all of our million-dollar companies as well as my own. So that's SOAR. Talk about sales. It's very easy to do sales, right? The Secrets of Closing Without Selling. The Power of a Wish was the first book that was actually published for me. This is about how to attract anything you want. So you can grab that one also. These are available on Amazon. And Everyday Heroes. And this is about the heroes in business. And there's a great, great story about one of my teammates that I wrote in there. 21-Day Mind Mastery, how to really master your mind. And that is not only just a book, but a whole program on its own, and many more to come. And do you know there's 2 ways that I've made millions and millions of dollars in the last few years? And that is from number 1 and number 3, speaking and writing. And my books have made me millions. Have they sold millions of copies? No, you don't need to. And that's why I want to show you this today. You can actually really scale your business and your growth and your bank account just by putting your publications out there. If you don't want to do it in a book, you can do mini books. You can do all kinds of aspects of the written word. So let's go ahead and dive into this today, because I have a lot to show you in a very little amount of time, and I want you to really take advantage of this. So if you haven't written a book yet, put it down below. If you want to write a book, put that down below. If you've written books and you want to maybe sell more copies or write another one, don't stop just at one. Okay. The first one is a lot more challenging, but after that, it gets easier if you have a process. And so we're going to show you our 4-step process that you can write your books, your publications, magazines, whatever it is you want to get out there. Bottom line, you got to get something out there. You got to let people know what you're like. Okay. So these are the steps, right? You have to get seen. We talked about that on week 1. And then you have to get heard. We talked about that on week 2. And now we're talking about getting paid, getting read. Next week, we're going to talk about getting paid. How do you really magnify this and turn it into more and more money on a continual basis, even while you sleep? So stay tuned for part 4. That'll be next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. So what's today's agenda? Today, we're going to break this down into 3 parts. We're going to talk about the power of the book, the process of writing it, and the profit that you can make. Those are the most important things. I could go on with 7 or 12 different parts, but the key things you need to know is the power, the process, and the profit that you're going to make when you write a book. Let's dive into the power of it all. And perhaps you've heard that words have power, right? Have you heard that? It's very, very true. Words do have power, right? And the question is, what do you want those words to say? You see, your books can help you create a lot more intimacy with your audience. It's a key factor, especially in an AI-powered world. Very much the world is going into this automation phase, and you have to make sure that you don't lose that human element to your work. So intimacy is very important, and a book and your written materials can provide all that. And you want to think about, well, what's the next chapter of your business? What do you want to do next? That's where your next book will come in. And your book is like a very thick, heavy business card. It should enlighten the audience about what you do, how you do it, and you want to use it like that, like as a really thick brochure, if you will, to get people to know you. When people read my book, Soar, they almost always call and say, I'd like to work with you, even if they've never spoken to me. After reading it, they get to know so well what I do and who I am that they don't have any more questions. That's the power of the book. And so every reading, depends on what you're selling your product, widget, service for. Maybe it's $30,000 a reading, $60,000. We have $100,000 programs. We have things for $5,000. And one reading of that, can you imagine how much you multiply that over years and years and years? So when you're thinking about this power, what is the impact you want your business to have in the world? Why are you doing this? You're not just doing it so you can get up in the morning and tell people what to do. You're not just doing it for money. You're doing it for something, that inner calling in you that wants to put something great out there. That's how we're made, right? To move forward, to expand, to do great things in the world, to help other people. What does your business stand for? That's going to come across in your book. And how do you want to be remembered? Your book is going to last a lot longer than you do. And that's going to signify what people remember you for. And is it what you want them to remember you for? Okay. Don't put out crap. Don't just say, I need a book. I'm going to go do AI in a weekend. It will not be a good book. And how do I know this? Because I've taken those courses. I've taken those, write a book in a weekend, write it overnight, do all that stuff. And the things that came out of it, I didn't publish. So let's just put it that way. So you really want to put you into the book. And keep in mind the educational content that you put out there, right? It should be educational. It should also be a little bit entertaining. People want to be entertained, and that is what scales trust. Okay. So this is some of the reasons why you want to do it. And the fact is that 87% of the people, if we poll them, and studies show this, that 87% of the people want to write a book. That would be great. Someday I'll. And I talk to a lot of people on the phone. I say, oh my gosh, you have a book in your story. And they're like, yeah, I've been thinking about it for a long time, but they don't do it. Only 1 in 30 people actually get around to writing that book. So that's not great. Again, you want to be as prolific as possible. Get everywhere. These are just some examples of some of the books we've put out. And as you can see, it's on all different topics, right? On wealth, on visibility, on profit, on writing, on sales, inking the deal, building funnels, all kinds of things. So as long as it revolves around something you have a passion for or something that your business is around, this will really, really help you. So we also have a new book coming out. This is another one. It's called Beyond Mindset, and that is coming out, I believe, this year. If not this year, early next year. It's been a while in the process. So what do you have in you? What's coming out? And this is actually one of my pet projects, because it's really about the mindset and the consciousness of business leaders and how those two have to come together. You can't really have a great business if you don't have a great mind. If you don't have a great mindset, you're not going to be able to build a big and wonderful business. So the two go hand in hand, and it's about more than just a fixed mindset or not. Okay. It's more than just grit. There's actually another level. Even if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and people say, oh, and you want to get to self-actualization. Well, self-actualization isn't the top level. Afterwards, he wrote about transcendence, and that is the top level that you want to get to. And this is what we're talking about in Beyond Mindset. And how do you achieve that level, and how do you stay there? Because that's how your business stays where you are. I could go off on a tangent because we're talking about books, but I won't. So this is our iconic process. How do I pump out so many books? Well, we use a simple 4-step process. Remember, everything we do is in 4 steps. And so we're going to dive into this so you can see what the steps are. And each one takes you to a new level. Okay. So if I'm going to dive into this just a little bit, I want to talk a little bit more about this so you can, and I'm going to go really quick through this. I'll let you look at this at the end here. So your words do have power. I want you to really understand this is so important for you to do, okay? 2 million books are published last year. The average one takes 6 to 12 months to write. We change all that with our 4-step process. And the average author only sells 100 copies. The average profit you make off of a book is about $1. So $100 a year or a lifetime isn't going to do it, right? You don't make your millions off of the actual sales of the book. You make it off of the profit that comes from the book. And here's the other interesting thing. People only read the first 2 chapters and they get bored and they stop. Over 80% of the population never reads another book after high school. And 87% want to write a book. But like we talked about, only 3% ever do. But it's really lucrative. Number 1 author made $92 million off of a book. And they open the door to other things, speaking gigs, films, royalties, all kinds of things. And why do you want to do this? You're going to have more credibility. Most people are like, oh, I have imposter syndrome. Boom, a book will erase that. And you can expand your visibility. More people will see you. You're in all kinds of different platforms. You attract more clients, and obviously you're going to make more money. So what we help you do is help you brainstorm these ideas and nail down your marketing, price your book for maximum sales, optimize it to reach number 1. And you know what? If you can't do it, we will do it for you. So we'll help you write a couple books as well. Just talk to me about it. We'll ghostwrite books for you while you're building your business. So you don't even have to do all of that. Okay. It will take you about 4 hours of time, but we'll put it all together and get all of it written. So imagine if you could stop mind-numbing DMs and you could cut your ad spend in half. You can do that with your publications. And you had throngs of buyers chasing you, and you became the leader that others wanted to follow. If you could do that, those are the things that will say, okay, maybe I do need to consider writing a book. It is really powerful. There's so many things behind it. And that's really what we want to really convince you of, that this is something that you need to do. It's part of your, what we call being a triple threat. All right. And this is also a way for you to utilize force multipliers, right? Because the power in your business is how quickly can you get things done, right? Speed is one of our niches, doing things fast. I learned that from running a racing company, and I apply it to all businesses. But this is a key differentiator, and this is what leaders really focus on, is getting things done fast. And a book allows you to speed up the process. You're also going to avoid revenue erosion. Have you noticed if you keep doing the same thing twice, it goes really great, and then all of a sudden it starts to slow down and things are not going well? And the things you did before don't work anymore. That's revenue erosion. Every market becomes saturated at some point. So how are you going to keep up your visibility, your profitability, and keep doing what you want to do, speaking your same message without getting diluted? That's where a book is going to come in handy. What is another thing, and this one is really important, is the visibility paradox. This is a danger for a lot of people. That visibility paradox means that you're trying to be everywhere. You're on Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and Twitter, and you even have pins on Pinterest, and you're everywhere. You're going on podcasts. Well, guess what? After a while, there's a paradox. You're everywhere, but you're also no longer interesting because your message is the same and people have heard you. It's not interesting anymore. So this can battle that. If you are in a place where you need to pivot in your practice, like, okay, I'm not even sure that I like doing this anymore, this is a good time to write a book and to pivot. It's a great way to test a new market, a new service, because you can just say, hey, let's put out this before you put out the offer and try to find a whole bunch of people to test it. Why not put out a book, talk about the concept and see if the concept rings true? You build a huge email list around it. Now you have your first buyers. It's magic. And maybe you're at a place where you need to leverage your license, whatever your license is. Maybe you are a doctor or you are a CPA. And maybe you're an attorney, maybe you're a business coach, or you have a coaching license, but you're not doing anything with it. You're not standing out from everybody else who has that same kind of license. This is when a book comes into play, and it's super handy for you to start doing. So let's get into the process. Hopefully at this point, you get it. Hopefully you're going, yep, I need to do this. I need to not put it off. Gonna get it done this year. Okay. If you want any help at all, please reach out, type in the comment below, reach out, DM, wherever you are. And while you're listening, by the way, please subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube here, please subscribe. We had to build a whole new channel for this. So, we had 250,000 subscribers. We're starting from 0 and going up from there. Help us get back to that, and share this with somebody else if you think it'll help them. Because all we do is we talk about strategies and principles, not hacks, not fads, not what's the latest thing and you try something and squirrel. These are things that work. Just do them, and there's not a lot of them, right? We keep the strategies very simple so you don't get lost in the weeds. And one of our processes is this 4-square methodology, and everything is enforced. There's a reason for it. We'll go into on another show. You can look up any of our training on SOAR, and you will understand the science and the art and the philosophy behind the SOAR principle and why it turns your business and your bank account into millions. So what we want to do is look at these 4 steps, right? In the beginning was the word, and an image and a thought, and then your book is born. So this is where we're going to start. I'm going to break down these stages for you, okay? And the first step in this process is that we need to shape it. That is the first thing you're going to do with your book. And what you're going to do is you're going to think of it like a scavenger hunt in your mind. It's a lot of fun, right? And you're going to collect all these pieces. So how do you do this? This is the part of the process in Shape It, okay, where you're pulling together the different ideas, concepts, and images of your grand idea. It's all going into one place, and that is where it gets shaped into your book concept. So before you even write one word, a lot of people think, I'm just going to start writing and then put it all together. Wrong. What you're going to do first is shape it. Okay, you're like a chipmunk, pre-winter, and you're going out and filling your cheeks with all these ideas. Okay, so if we take a look at this, how do you do it? Okay, there's a progressive path that you're going to go through. Number 1 is collection. Collect all the different ideas, thoughts, some resources, put it all together. And then the cadence. How are you going to do this? You're going to collect it, and then you want to start getting a feel for how is this going to go? How is this going to be written? And then the compression, right? Putting it all together so that you have it all organized, all these pieces, like I'm going to go from here to here to here. That's your cadence that you're going to go through. And then the compression. Putting it, this is going to stay, this is going to go in the book, right? And you compress it into the material that matters. You will have more material in the beginning. When I wrote SOAR, at first it was like 370 pages, and I pared it down to about 230. And that's what happens, right? I could have a whole other book around it. So you want to go through that. Now, the second step in the process, what happens here, right? So when you are in the flow of writing, the world transcends time, and it just feels timeless. You're just writing, and it's like, wow, this is great, because you're in the flow. It's you. It's not the outside world giving you ideas. It's you, what you think. And when I write my books, I go into this weird state. I sit cross-legged, Indian style, right? I have my laptop there, and on my legs, and I just rest my fingers on the keyboard. I close my eyes, and I literally just wait. And I wait for the words to come out, and my fingers start moving. And it's awesome. So I always say I didn't write the book, right? It's written through me. I connect to that place, that divine place where all these brilliant ideas are just waiting to be put out in the world. And then they come out. And oftentimes you might find the same thing when I've written in some amazing places and then I set it aside. I don't read and edit as I write. I set it aside, then I come back to it. I've come back to many segments of my writing and I'm like, wow, this is good. Who wrote this? I don't even recognize it's me, right? Because it just came from such an amazing place. So if you're really into this, it might sound weird to you, but that's the magic of writing. You really become connected to your soul and to your center, and it puts out some great work in the world. So if you never publish it, just get into this space. Sometimes it's really fun. Okay, so now we want to script it. This is the fun part, right? This is where the writing process takes place. It's kind of therapeutic, as I just said, and its expression really frees you. You really do come alive and you fall in love with what you're doing. How many of you are just sort of going through the motions at work and you don't even feel anything? Well, in scripting, this is where you let the writing begin, right? You pick the times that you're going to do it, the environment, you're going to arrange all your tools. And when you do all of this, you completely crush writer's block. Writer's block disappears. It is no longer a thing. So don't worry about it. If you have a problem with writer's block, let me know. We wrote a book on it, right? And then that in this time where you're writing, what are you going to write? What are you going to put into your book? And so I broke this down into different segments because some people just write and it's a personal thing. Now, I'm talking about writing something that is around your business. This is not your personal thing. We're talking nonfiction here. Fiction is a completely different thing. I am not the expert at it. If you're writing poetry, I have a book on that, but that's not this. This is a book to grow your business, right? So let me show you this chart here. So you can see some of the things that you want to put in there. And you definitely, number one, is you want to be able to write stories. Can you write some stories that are good, that catch people in the middle of the act? You want to even open your book with a story, not like once upon a time, but like, so I sat there breathing. I could barely catch my breath. I never thought this would happen, right? Now that's a way to open a book. And that's in the middle of the action, right? I don't say, I was walking down the street and a car chased me and I started running and I could, I'm catching it in the middle after the chase and I can't catch my breath. Right? So what's the story that you're going to write? If you don't know how to write stories, check in with us. We can show you some different things that you can do and get you some starter pieces that we have. And you want to have some case studies that you can use. You also want to have proof. And then you might want to have some statistics that you can add, some extra resources. And you know what is also really nice is if you're going to write, then have some extra resources. This is where the money comes in. So if you go to conniescabella.com/bonuses, then you can get all of the resources in my book Soar. And, we show you all different resources and things that you can do to actually implement what we're talking about. And then we give you a site that you can go to, a membership site that's free, to download all those resources. And so that's why I say put those resources in your book and in your publications. And people really love that. And that helps them get acquainted with you. So is this making sense so far? I hope it's not confusing you. If it is, just hop on a 10-minute call. Go to callconnie.com or look down below. And if you want to watch this again, just go ahead and subscribe or click wherever you are, ask for a replay, and we will get the replay to you so you can watch this again on your own time and really get into it. So now what we want to do is we want to get into the third step, okay? So what did we do first? We actually decided to shape the book, put all the pieces together. Then we script the book, right? And okay, I'm sorry. Now we're going to shape the book. Okay, so let's get into shaping the book. That is stage 3. And this is where you let your thoughts dance from your mind onto the page and put it all into an order that makes great sense to the reader. And there is a point where the separate parts become whole. So you've got all these parts and pieces and sticky notes or whatever, and now we're going to put it together. And at this point, stage 3, you're going to stage it. Like imagine if you have a movie set and you're going to take all the furniture and you're going to put it on stage and lay it out so it all makes sense. So that you are now putting all the building blocks together into one beautiful design, and then it elegantly flows together. And of course, this happens with the help of many people, right? You can't really do this on your own. You need other eyes, a different viewpoint to say, okay, this makes sense. This doesn't make sense. This is coming out, right? So what you need to do is bring on the right people to help you get this accomplished. So again, in this process, who are you going to need? You're going to need some proofreaders after you write your first pass through. And you can talk to me later about all the different stages and how many times you write it and rewrite it and who does what when and how long does it take and how much do all those people cost to bring on. I can help you out with all of that. Just book a call with us, okay? So you need someone to proofread it. A person must be good, like really good in English or in your native tongue, okay? Don't just hire anybody. Don't just hire a 5th grader. These people have to understand, the topic. And then you need some copy editors, to dot your I's, cross your T's, put the sentence structure in. Sometimes when you're writing, you don't even realize that you wrote something and then 4 chapters later, you're actually repeating the same thing. Sometimes that happens when you're too into it, okay? So let me know, by the way, as you're listening, do you want to write a book? Do you have one that's not selling that you would maybe want to redo or start a new one or just get more words out there? Maybe you're not ready for a book, but you could start with blogging and just do a bunch of blogs. A lot of books that you've probably read are compilations of just a whole bunch of blogs put together, right? So many ways to do this. You just have to get started. And with our 4-step process that we're going through, it's so much easier than you think. And then, so you've got your proof editors, you've got your copywriters, copy editors, and then you want someone to do the book design, helping you lay it out and the style and the look, right? So for example, let me give you an idea here. With SOAR, right? So there's a different style in the book, right? So I have different chapters, different parts, different segments. I'm not sure if I'll see it in here, but we have different charts and graphs that you want to see. So where do you put those in here, right? And the way that these are all laid out, right, is very different, right? Putting the different designs in here. This is what your copy design person is going to do, is lay out all these things, okay? And you don't just want words. I read a book. I was featured in a book, and a person wrote like a chapter about me and my business, and I won an award for being the fastest growth consulting company on that year. And they wrote about me and my process. And I was so excited to get the book, and then I could use it as a tool and a resource. And the book was so awful that it was written so poorly. It was produced poorly. The words went all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. Do you know there were no page numbers in the book? And I bought, I don't know, like 20 or 30 copies so I could give them out. I still have all of them. Actually, I threw most of them away. I kept 2 or 3 just to validate it. But it was such an embarrassment. I couldn't even use it. The design was so bad. I thought, wow, you could have afforded a designer. It was awful. So little story, little warning signs, okay? It's not as easy as you think, and it's not as hard as you think. But you do need someone to help you out doing this. And if you do, what are the next steps that you want to take? First of all, just book a call with us. It's 10 minutes. I'm not going to sell you anything. I don't bite. And just figure out, let's have a discussion, right? An elaboration and collaboration. What do you want? And then how do I point you in the right direction? Or maybe you want to work with us. And then you just start taking fast action on what we talk about. Okay. That's how simple it is. And, we want to go to the next one. The last part is the profit. How do you turn a book into profit? And right, we're talking about getting famous in 4 hours. This is our 3rd hour that we're talking about. And I want to make sure, let me see. Okay. I hope you guys can hear me. Okay. Just want to make sure I was getting a message. That if you can't hear me, let me know. So I want to know who's ready to write a book. Okay. If you are, let me know. Oksana says writing a book is my next step. Absolutely. Okay. Who else? Let me know. Put it in the comments. Are you ready to write a book? We have all the tools. We actually did a class, the Distinguished Author Program, and I'll show this to you. If there's a bunch of people that want it, I will run it again. And we did how to write a book in 13 weeks. It's super fun. I can show you the testimonials of everybody who wrote the book. It was 100% required that you write your book, and everybody finished it. So it's 13 weeks, 13 people. It's awesome. I'm not here to promote that because I didn't plan on doing that. But if 13 people really want it, I will run that program for you and get you guys your book. Okay. It's a lot of fun. So I'm getting a lot of messages that, people are saying, yes, I want to do that. So let me know if you're one of those and I'll reach out to you. Okay. So we've got the first 3 steps. Let's do the last part of writing a book. And right there may be toil, right? There may be trials, there may be tears, definitely tears as you're writing the book. You'll want to throw it away 1,000 times and run off to Tahiti instead. But the ultimate payoff is priceless. When you get this done, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. I always say SOAR was like birthing triplets, but it felt like I was in a family of 100. It was just so awesome after I was done. And the 4th step, now you have to sell it. What good is a book if it's not going out in the world, right? So what was once your passion becomes the passion for another. It becomes what they love. Okay. Your passion turns into their love. And I've just been rewarded so many times and people say, oh, I love that book. So it changed my life. It saved my life. All those kind of things. That's worth every sleepless night that you spend on your book. Okay. So when we're in the selling process, now this is where your hard work is paid off. Your writing efforts have birthed a book. Woohoo. Okay. Now you have to find the channels, the tours. You want to carry your book everywhere. Talk to everyone about your book. You spent so much time on it. Don't just go, oh, yeah, whatever. Or after 6 months or a year, I finished my tour and you do nothing with it. And when you write it right, it's timeless. It doesn't matter if it was written in 1912 or 1972 or 2002 or 2012. If you write a good book, they're awesome, right? I love to go back and read books from transcendentalists, right? Like Emerson and Thoreau, but those are almost 100 years ago. So it still is good. Carry it everywhere. Talk about it everywhere. Use that as your entry point to have a conversation. So what do you do? Well, actually, right now I'm promoting my book. Oh, you wrote a book. Watch their whole face change. It will be amazing. Okay. I just want you to get one done. And I promise you, you will get addicted. I often say it's like plastic surgery in California, right? Someone starts with a little injection and soon they've rechanged their whole face. Writing a book is like that. You get addicted to putting out more and more and more and more. And no, you don't have to have plastic surgery or anything like that. I haven't, never would. But I love to write books instead. Okay. So let's continue on. This is the last part of the 4 steps. And then if you need any help, we have some freebie gifts on this and how to do it. I'm happy to get that to you. And so what is the quantitative process? We're talking about making money, right? And so the key is to get this done and finish it. Don't just start. Don't be one of those people who's been writing a book for a number of years. You want to figure out, what is the process? How do I go through these stages, not of just writing it, but then the 4 stages of selling it so it becomes a bestseller. That's what's great. You can turn it into a bestseller now forever. It's a bestseller. Okay. Unless you want to and you have tons of money, a couple $100,000, don't pay for that. Don't pay to be like a New York Times bestseller. It just is kind of creepy, right? So how are you going to make the money? Here's 4 easy ways to make money with your book. Number 1 is speaking engagements. This is one of the big things that does it for me. Every time I want to go speak somewhere, I bring my books, or people find it, or if I'm connecting to somebody, I want to speak on their platform or their association, I send them a book in advance. Okay. And that way, it's they go, oh, okay, great. It's also a way to get paid. You say, okay, you don't have to pay me for the talk, but I need you to buy 200 copies of the book or something like that. So you can leverage that. It could turn into a movie or TV rights. I've had people come up to me, approach me, and want to take my story in SOAR and turn it into a movie. And it can then have residuals and royalties from all of this. And it can also turn into very high ticket clients for you. So those are some ways that you can capitalize on this. It's not just the book per se, right? And then here's some extra ways that you can actually leverage this and do some other things with it rather than just a book. Now, what other forms can you do? So once I wrote the book, I turned it into an Audible and recorded my own Audible for it. You can turn it into picture books. We actually created cards, like flashcards, right, that have different SOAR principles on it. You can turn it into a blog. I have the blog that goes with, or the podcast, right, that goes with it. We now have a newsletter and a blog that ties to it. You can have a membership site as another thing you can do. You can make social posts around different chapters. We made a whole bunch of posts with different quotes from the book, and now that fills it up, and then it references SOAR, page 123, right? People go, oh, where's the book? So do you see how all of these tie together? And it all is, it just gets you everywhere, okay? Yeah. The visibility, Oksana says, absolutely. So how can you use this to be more visible? This is why I say, if you're spending thousands of dollars a month on an ad agency and ads, and you don't even know what you're doing and they're not working, try a book. All right. I didn't have to, for us to go from 0 to 1.4 million, I didn't have to spend any money on ads. Why? Because it was all around the book. And so it's just awesome. You can create workbooks. The list is endless if you really start to think about this, okay? You can turn it into like SOAR. Over time, you will see that it'll be SOAR in business, SOAR in relationships, SOAR in health, SOAR for kids, because the whole formula works for everything. And if you can turn your book into a series like that, like a chicken soup for the soul, wow, okay? Now you're talking many, many millions. And again, that's not why you're doing it, but it is the reason why you're in business. A business is here to make money. So is this making sense to you guys? I get so excited about this. And if you don't know, do I have a story? Do I have a system? You don't even have to know it. If I look at your business, I can actually create what we call a GPS. It's a geometric product sequence. It's a way to navigate your business, and it's our own IP. It's our own technology. Once you know that, your business takes off. And then what do we do with your book? We use your GPS, your unique formula, and we write a book about it. And that's how you get a 12-chapter book. Just like that, you don't have to sit and stew over it. And that's why we say you can write a book in 13 weeks. And again, let me know if this is something you want to do. Whether you want private consulting or you want me to form a group on this, just even do a webinar on it, I'm happy to. Okay, so now you know it's going to make you money if you do it. The question is, are you going to do it? What's the first step you need to do? Just book a consultation. Just ask me, even if it's just like the title. Some people get hung up on the title. They don't know what to do first, right? Well, you start with, okay, this is my topic. This is going to be my audience, right? When you're actually writing and scripting your book on part 2, right? When you're actually doing the scripting in stage 2, usually you start with, this is my title, this is my subtitle, and then you write your inner flap, right? When you open a book, you read, this is what it's about. Okay. That's very important. And do you know what's next? It's not even the book. Then you write the back. Okay. Because what do people do at a bookstore? They pull the book out and they look at the cover. Okay, I'm going to talk about that in a sec. And who wrote it? They read the subtitle. Okay, that's still interesting, right? And then they go like this and they flip it over. If it's a hardbound book, then they open it and look for the inside cover. This right here is a secret. I'm not going to tell you that. You're going to have to ask me about it. So, and then you have your inside. Then you start writing all your chapters, okay? And then you start filling them in. And then you write your ends. So that's actually the process of that you're going to go through. Now, when we talked about design, cover design is vital. And you're going to go through a lot. I went through so many designers to get the cover for this. And there are secrets to the cover. The colors that you use, there are specific colors that work for certain type of industries. I'm in the combination here of business and a little bit of personal on this book, right? Because there's a human story, and then this is the formula for growing a business. Do you know the 2 best colors at the time and even today of writing a book are blue and orange? And so obviously I have orange there. And then in the book, when you're doing a cover, there's a couple formulas that work. There's something called the golden mean, and it's based around the Fibonacci sequence, which is a physics and math equation, right? And they use it a lot in the stock market to read charts and head and shoulder charts and all of those kind of things. And so that sequence and these patterns is how you figure out what's going to go on your cover and where and all of that. So there's an art and a science to it. It's very fascinating when you learn it. But just a cover alone can make or break your topic, right? And so I spent, oh my gosh, months and months and months on the cover, and many people and designers would come in and give me their things, and nobody did it. And so I did the research. I'm like, oh, okay, now I understand these sequences and these patterns, and that's why none of them worked for me. They weren't designing based on the science of what works. They were just designing on how they could design. And so actually we did our own cover, and I had another cover before it that somebody gave me. It sucked. Nobody wanted that one in the test, and everybody loved this. So it's clean, it's simple. And the other thing is, when you look at a little thumbnail, like in Amazon, right, you have to be able to see it and read it. A friend of mine did a great, I won't tell you the topic, but he's a film producer, and he wrote a book, and then he showed me the cover, and it was horrendous. And I thought, who did that? I said, did you design it yourself? Because it looked like a 3rd grader did it. And no. So if he had a different cover, I know that thing would fall off the shelves more so, because the content is good, but nobody's going to pick it up. Okay. These are little things that you will get as if you want a consultation. So you want to ask yourself, why should you do this? I gave you a lot of reasons on the power of writing a book. Why now? Because of the time we're in. You have to find a way to distinguish yourself. You can't just make everything AI. AI looks AI, and you can tell. And you still have to have that intimacy. If you don't have that intimacy and the individuality, those 2 things are going to make or break you as AI continues to grow dominant in our world. Why us? Hopefully watch this again, and you can see we definitely know what we're doing when it comes to books about your business, books to promote your business, books for profit, books to get speaking gigs, all of that. So next steps, again, like I said, go to callconnie.com, book your call. It's 10 minutes. If we need more time, we can book more time after that. And we're going to discuss your ideas and then give you a plan. What do you do? Absolutely very next thing you need to do. And what do you need to do that week to move this thing forward? Not in a few months. Okay. We love fast action takers. So if you are ready to write your book in days, not in years, please reach out to us, let us know, or just start. Okay, just start doing something. Pick one topic and get going. So I appreciate you guys being here. This is a longer show than we normally do, but there's so much in here. Now, next week, look for all the parts so you can put all of these 4 hours together. How do you get famous? From your own show, from your own podcast, from your own books and writing. And what is it next? We're going to talk about how do you get paid. And we're going to teach you how to build a community, a group, a tribe around you so that you can have money coming in all the time and really grow your own brand and your own messaging, and it's super fun. So I'm going to show you that secret. All of these I have done and made millions on, and you can start with one, then add another and add another and another. Just pick one, and you can get started in under an hour for each one. That's why we say get famous in 4 hours. If you want some more help, let us know. Also, reach out to us. If you are local where I live here in San Diego, or maybe where some of my other business advisors are, you can come to a local workshop and learn more about these strategies. Here in San Diego, we do it every Tuesday, well, almost every Tuesday. And you can go to theiconicworkshop.com and come join us. And every once in a while, we'll do webinars on this. So please reach out. And if you're looking to write a book, if you want us to write your book, if you are looking for this to grow your business or your consulting practice, you want to get into speaking and have a book with it, please reach out. These are all avenues that you can grow your business. We're here to help make you iconic, and we will see you back here next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, and we will be live, and hopefully you will be too. See you then.